Hello world, Shelly here, and it's time for another episode of Foundation Fest. And today we're going to check out from Morphe the Filter Effect Soft Focus Foundation. Retails for $20 for 0.94 ounces or 28 mils of product. That's a little over $21 per ounce. Currently getting 4 out of 5 stars on Ulta's website. I've got this in the third lightest shade 3. Go figure. Comes in 40 different shades. They describe it as best filter ever. The Morphe Filter Effect Soft Focus Foundation is an oil-free, skincare-infused foundation that delivers a natural finish for healthy-looking skin. This luxe, long-wearing formula is designed to blur and diffuse the look of imperfections while deeply hydrating and nourishing skin. Crafted in Italy for the ultimate soft focus, filter effect look, and powered by high-performing skin perfecting ingredients. Medium to full coverage. Last 12 hours, transfer-proof, sweat-proof, waterproof. It's the best filter you'll ever use. You know me and these superlatives. Hyaluronic acid, vitamin E for antioxidants, pore-blurring pigments, yada, yada, yada. Got some glycerin in here. That's good for hydration. Checking out the ingredients. Looks like it's dimethicone based. I don't at a glance see any added fragrance, which is a good thing. Let's take a look at this shade Light 3 swatched against a few others in my collection. Swatch time. First up is today's foundation from Morphe, the Filter Effect Soft Focus in shade Light 3. Second is from Estee Lauder, the Double Wear Stay in Place in 1C1 Cool Bone. Third up, I've got MAC Studio Sculpt in NW15. Fourth is CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made in L40. And last I've got from Misha, the Perfect Cover BB Cream in 21. I've already cleansed, moisturized, and sunscreened this 46-year-old face. I have primed with the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Primer. We will see how this goes. I've got a dampened sponge for one side, my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush on the other. We'll see if there's a preference one way or the other. We have a nice frosted glass bottle here with a pump. You know I like me a pump. Pretty thick formula, not going anywhere. I apologize in advance for any construction noise that you are probably going to hear. They are working on my edition, and I gotta film whenever I can film. This is probably a little bit light for me. This is probably my super winter shade, which is good because there are actually shades lighter than this and lots of shades darker than this. So bravo on the shade range. Blends out quite nicely with the sponge. I'd say pretty light coverage right off the bat with the sponge. I'm getting a little bit of clinging to texture on this cheek and a little bit of clinging on my nose, but let's take a look at the brush side. Just as easy to blend out with the brush, I feel. Getting the same kind of clinging to just little bits of dry patches that I've got going on. Looks the same on my nose. I actually feel like the sponge side is a little bit better. I think it's a little bit more clingy to texture with the brush. I did use up just about all of that product, so I'm going to put just a little bit more on the palette. They say this is buildable. I'm going to take the sponge and just try to build up the areas where I need just a little bit more coverage and see just how buildable this is. I don't like how it looks building on top of itself. It just looks like a little bit of makeup sitting on top of the skin just a bit, and I don't feel like we're getting a ton more coverage. It's just clinging to a little bit of flaking skin that I've got going on. Let's zoom in and take a look at this one. So generally speaking, I feel like it does sit on top of the skin just a bit. And if you have any kinds of flaking going on, it is going to cling to those flaking bits of skin. I did some recently got back into my tretinoin after a couple weeks off of it, so I am flaking again, and it's really clinging to that flaking skin. That's really the only thing negative that I see happening, because otherwise, areas where I don't have flakes, it does look quite nice. I don't feel like it's accentuating pores or texture. I think it looks quite nice on pores and texture, actually. It's just that it's clinging to all of the edges of flaking skin. Now, sometimes that will settle down as the product kind of warms to your body temp and all that. So we will see if I can get that to settle down. I've got some significant peeling happening on my chin here, so it's a little bit of a hot mess, but you know, kind of always a hot mess. So let's check the time. We are talking 1:07. Let me go put the rest of my face on. I will be right back. Back with the Morphe Soft Focus. Honestly, this is a gorgeous foundation if it wasn't for the areas where it's clinging to my flaking skin. Everywhere else, it really is super pretty in terms of blurring everything out. It's doing what it says, except where it's clinging to dry skin. But we will see if that settles down. I did not have to set this with powder, which is awesome. My face has no surprises. I've got the Wayne Goss Blush and Contour palettes. They get so fingerprinty. It drives me crazy. But I love the colors. And my eyes are the Alter Ego Luster Charm palette. Mascara is the number 7 Full 360 Ultra. My lip is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Brass. And I think that's about all that's going on. Anastasia Brow Freeze still for the win. Yeah, I'll come back in a bit, give you guys a daylight check-in, and then I will come back tonight, give you guys my final thoughts. Hey guys, we are at almost the 5-hour mark, and shade match, I think, maybe it's not as light as I thought it was initially. Might be okay for most of the year for me. I did get a look at this in indoor lighting, and a lot of the clinging to dry skin seems to have sort of at least faded back into the background. Doesn't seem as obvious as it did, at least not in indoor lighting. Still think it looks pretty blurring, pretty smoothing, pretty like soft skin, except it is kind of freezing my smile lines in place just a little bit. I feel like they're a little more obvious, but otherwise I think we're in pretty good shape so far at the 5-hour mark. What do you guys think? There you go. I will be back tonight and we'll see how it goes. 11:52 p.m. We are approaching the 11-hour mark. Let's take a look at how the Morphe Soft Focus Foundation held up. I do have some good news to report. Not only did I almost forget to film this outro, meaning it is comfortable enough that I just kept on wearing it, wasn't even thinking about my makeup, it also did kind of settle down in terms of the accentuation of flaking skin. Didn't completely vanish. It is still visible in some spots that it's clinging there, but it definitely did sort of melt down into a wearable format. And I would say it is living up to the claims in terms of the sort of soft focus and the blurring. That part of it is very nice. It blurs texture and pores, especially, I would say, quite nicely. It does accentuate flaking skin, especially in the beginning of wearing it, so you need to wait a few hours for it to kind of settle down and melt into your skin. I will also say, today was the warmest day that we have had so far this year. It was like 86, 87 degrees outside, and I keep my air conditioner off until I can't take the heat anymore because I enjoy having windows open. So it held up pretty good on a warm day. I wasn't out running a marathon or anything, so I wasn't like sweating profusely, but it was warm and somewhat humid, and I think the overall finish got a little bit more dewy, but it held up pretty doggone well. Let's zoom in and take a look at the specifics. So it's kind of wearing away in the typical places where foundation would wear away. I'm losing coverage on my chin, on my upper lip, and on my nose. The foundation still looks pretty close to new on my cheeks in terms of blush, bronzer, and highlight. They are all still very nicely intact. They wore very well. I don't see any sort of caking or settling into lines going on. Like I said earlier, it did accentuate my smile lines just a tiny bit, but considering today's warmth and the fact that I've got bangs now, it did hold up on my forehead fairly well. So especially since we are at, an 11-ish hour time frame. If I had to give a grade to the Morphe Filter Effect Soft Focus Foundation, I am going to give it a solid B for the moment. It has a fantastic shade range. I do think if you have flaking and peeling skin, it's going to have, a little bit of iffy moments there, but the wear time is really nice. It is very comfortable, and it's probably a potential A foundation if you don't have flaking skin, because I really do like the blurring sort of effects that it had, and it's not doing anything in terms of settling into lines, so I think it's all right. I'm gonna go solid B for now, with the caveat that it's probably higher if you're not flaking, as I am right now. So there you have it. Another episode of Foundation Fest is in the books. If you enjoy foundation reviews, if you had a good time with this one, give me a thumbs up down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Take a look at geekoutofwater.com. Click the Foundation Fest link. I have a ranked, sortable, searchable spreadsheet of all 200 plus of my foundation reviews on there. Swipe that thing. There's a ton of data. And as always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.